Today we're sharing our top destinations for slow travel and why you should consider adding them to your own bucket list.
We've traveled to more than 40 countries and these are our top 10 picks.
Stay tuned for the end of the episode to find out the country that's at the very top of our slow travel bucket list.
To our subscribers, thanks so much for coming back for another episode. If you're new to the channel, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Gillian. We're a couple who sold everything we owned, packed up our lives and our 2 dogs, and headed off for a life of full-time travel.
If you're looking for how-tos for travel, you have come to the right place. So do click on that subscribe and the little bell notification and you'll never miss an episode.
Like everyone else, we're currently waiting out the COVID-19 lockdown. But today we thought we'd just take some time to dream a little of the places we'd like to travel once the restrictions are lifted.
With that in mind, we've compiled a list of the top 10 places that we want to go to for slow travel once the borders reopen. And this is not just a list of random places that we picked up by online research. In fact, we've been to all of these places before, but we were there as fast travelers, meaning we spent 1 week there, maybe 2 weeks in some cases, maybe even just a long weekend. So we saw all of them very quickly, and they're places that we're now thinking we would really like to go back and spend a lot more time.
So we've already vetted them and we know they'd be great places to revisit for a longer stay. There are certain things we look for in a slow travel destination: a rich cultural experience, beautiful surroundings where we can get out into nature, and of course, delicious and interesting foods.
Finally, we love getting a lot of value for every dollar we spend. So we really appreciate low cost of living countries where you can really get so much more for your travel budget. We talk a lot more about what we look for as full-time travelers in a recent video that we did about the lessons that we've learned after spending 6 months on the road, which we'll link up in the description below.
Before we get into our list, we'd love to hear from you. Which country is at the top of your bucket list? Go ahead and let us know in the comments below.
So a quick word on our methodology before we get started. We each picked 5 countries for the bucket list for a total of 10 countries. And we're going to be presenting these in no particular order except for the very last one, which is at the very top of our bucket list for when borders finally reopen.
If you've been following our channel, you'll know that we spent 6 years working as expats in Singapore. So we did a lot of exploring of Southeast Asia, and that's where we're going to kick things off today.
And we're going to start with my pick, which is Vietnam. So while we were living in Singapore, we had the good fortune of being able to go to Vietnam a number of times. So we've covered quite a few tourist destinations there, including places like Hoi An, Hanoi, Ha Long Bay. Beyond the beautiful countryside and the interesting culture and the super low cost of living that you can find in Vietnam, the main reason that I would want to go back for a month or longer is the food. I absolutely love the freshness and the variety of Vietnamese food. And in fact, some of my favorite memories from our trips there were doing food tours of the different cities.
I have to agree and would say that I could probably eat Vietnamese food every single day. Now, the country that I have selected is also well known for its delicious dishes, and that is Thailand. Thailand is a popular tourist destination for good reasons. It's warm year-round, it's inexpensive, and it's easy to get around. But for me, it's the beach life that keeps pulling me back. Having spent many long weekends there diving, rock climbing, or just relaxing, I could definitely see us going back to chill for a few months in Thailand.
I totally agree. Thailand is one of those places we just can't get enough of. And it has really good infrastructure for long-term travelers, especially in places like Chiang Mai, although there is no beach there, but it's definitely a great spot if you're an expat or a digital nomad or an early retiree and you want to have a very comfortable lifestyle. Moving on to the rest of Asia, my next pick is a country where we only spent a very short amount of time for our visit, but I always wished I could have gotten to know a lot better. And that is Taiwan. We went to Taiwan for a long weekend because it was just a 4-hour flight from Singapore, and during that time we barely skimmed the surface of everything that Taiwan has to offer. For that trip, we were based in Taipei, and what I loved about the city was the mix of the modern and the hipster and the historic. So it was just really exciting. Every corner to turn down, there was either some amazing shopping experience or a beautiful ancient temple. And of course, Taiwan has a really interesting street food culture, and you can really spend many evenings exploring the night markets that are held all over the city.
It also has incredible natural beauty and tons of hiking and cycling, which we didn't get to experience on that short trip. Overall, there's definitely enough to keep us busy for a month or two. My next pick is going to be Japan. Between its incredibly modern cities and its traditional culture, which you can still experience by staying in ryokan inns, it's a truly fascinating place to visit. Of course, for us, the real draw is the great hiking on offer in Japan. We did some amazing multi-day treks through forests and mountains with Buddhist temples and shrines marking the way. We got to end each day by getting into a traditional onsen bath, followed by a delicious omakase meal made up of dozens of little dishes.
Of course, what Gillian seems to forget is that Japan is not a low-cost destination. So we had some really lovely hiking trips there, yes, but they added up. So if we were to go back for a month or two, I think we'd have to figure out the budget way to do it. My next pick is a low-cost destination, so maybe that would help balance out a month in Japan, and that is the country of Sri Lanka. I was really taken by the diversity of the landscape while we were there. There are the gorgeous beaches to the south, and then in the north there were the lush tea hills. The one thing that I would love to do that we didn't get a chance to experience the first time round is a safari. Sri Lanka is known for having incredible wildlife, so that is definitely a reason for going back.
My next pick also offers spectacular scenery, but at much higher altitudes, and that's Nepal. What I love about trekking in Nepal is you can hike between the tea houses, which provide all your accommodations and food at a very reasonable cost, so you don't have to carry heavy gear with you.
For my next pick, I'm going to take us all the way to the other side of the world. I've chosen Mexico, which is a country that I visited when I was 12. Now that I'm a lot older, I really appreciate all that Mexico has to offer beyond just the gorgeous beaches. So it's possible to immerse yourself in the local food and the culture and the history, but also there's really great infrastructure there, which is great for longer term stays, such as for digital nomads, for expats, and for retirees.
Moving down to Central America, the place I'd most like to slow travel is Costa Rica. From the incredible rainforest to the beach vibes on both coasts, there's tons to see and do in this amazing country. It also has quite good infrastructure, which has made it a popular expat hangout for the last few decades. I could definitely go for some pura vida, or the simple life, on the beaches of Costa Rica. Our next stop will be Europe, which for me had a lot of contenders, but the destination I'm putting forward is Greece. It's really not hard to justify spending a month or two in Greece. You have the delicious Greek cuisine, you have the Mediterranean climate, beautiful beaches, historic sites, and it's low cost too, especially compared with other Western European countries.
Now let's get to the country that is at the very top of our slow travel bucket list and the one that we hope to get to once the borders reopen. And that is Portugal, a country that we feel offers really the full package for a slow traveler. It's got all the history and culture that you would expect from a European destination, but at a fraction of the cost. It also gets a little bit less tourist traffic than places like Spain, and as a result, it has a reputation of being a bit more welcoming.
It offers delicious rustic foods made from simple ingredients, which is one of our favorite ways to eat. And in terms of geography, we love the rugged coastline and the little fishing villages and beaches that are there to discover.
If you found this topic helpful, we recommend you watch this video next. It covers all the lessons that we learned from 6 months as full-time travelers. So go ahead, feel free to click on it now.
If you like this content, let us know by hitting that thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.